Hello guys, welcome to the channel Talking with Jay Spring. On today's video, I'm giving you my favourite movie from each year since I've been born. So I'm going to go through from 1994 all the way up until 2019, give a movie and one or two honourable mentions with it to let you guys know my favourite movies. Not best, but favourite. So don't forget to let me know yours in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've got a bunch more videos coming up on the channel just like this one where I've got to talk about the underrated movies, the movies I haven't seen. I've got a bunch of ideas and a bunch of stuff coming up, so stay tuned guys on the channel. But without further ado guys, let's jump straight into it. Kicking off with 1994, the year I was born, my honourable mention being The Shawshank Redemption, a masterpiece movie in its own way, some great performances, great cinematography, everything comes together, an actual 10 out of 10 movie. But the movie that beats it just about in my opinion, and my favourite movie of that year, is The Crow. The Crow is one of the most underrated and overlooked movies. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's got a supernatural, dark and really good story when it comes to the whole coming back to life and getting revenge stuff. I really do enjoy that, and I think Brandon Lee for his last performance gave an excellent performance. The characters, the cast, the whole story come together and create an absolute masterpiece which I thoroughly enjoy from the minute I first set my eyes on this movie. On to 1995, my honourable mention being Braveheart. Braveheart obviously a masterpiece as well, Mel Gibson in that movie doing so well, one of the best war films for sure of its time. But my favourite movie in 1995 is Toy Story. Now Toy Story being obviously from my childhood growing up, I absolutely love this movie, and what this franchise done, knowing that it's still going today, is something extraordinary, and they've done a great job. It's so successful. The characters, the voice cast, oh my god, the voice cast, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, oh, you can go through so many. There is just so many great voice actors in there. It's just a great movie which I can still watch nowadays. And you know what I love about Toy Story is when you have kids one day, and I'm sure many of you guys probably have kids, you can sit there and watch this movie with them, enjoy it like you did when you was a child, and let them have the fantasy of enjoying it as well. It's an absolute superb movie. 1996 on my honourable mention is a surprise one for many people, I'm sure. It is Matilda. Matilda was a fun movie guys. I absolutely loved the movie and I can still watch it nowadays and get enjoyment out of it. But the number one spot for me in 1996 is Scream. Scream is a great movie, especially the first one. It's the best one of the franchise in my opinion. I really do love what it did. It really tried to introduce itself into that horror genre so well, with the likes obviously Freddy Krueger, Jason, you've got Michael Myers. You have obviously so many around that sort of period of time. It really, Scream was one of them iconic things that came out. And I was actually scared of The Mask when I was younger as well. It really impacted me as a young kid watching this. It really scared me. But when I've grown up, I've really got to appreciate the Scream, especially the first one, and really intend to love it, especially if you love scary movies as well. Scream's in that, and that's absolutely great as well. Coming in 1997, I actually have two honourable mentions, one being the Titanic. Titanic, obviously, I don't need to speak about it much. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's got a great story, emotional scenes, great music and stuff, which a lot of people tend to love, and it probably is most people's number one. The other honourable mention is Face Off. I absolutely think this is a masterpiece of a movie. I absolutely love the story. Nicolas Cage and John Travolta actually performed so well in this movie to deliver a unique and interesting story with a ton of action. It is one of my favourite movies of all time. But my favourite movie of that year in 1997 is Good Will Hunting. This is a masterpiece, another 10 out of 10 movie for me. It is so great in its own way. You've got Matt Damon, you've got Ben Affleck, the story, the cinematography, just the speech between Matt Damon and the masterpiece of Robin Williams in this movie. Just them two talking, the interaction between these characters is an absolute genius move from the director and the producers and the writing team. I absolutely love this movie. This is definitely one I enjoy to date. 1998 had some special movies to offer. This was one of the hardest ones I had to do when it comes to picking my first choice and honourable mention. But I've come to the decision of my honourable mention being Blade. Blade is one of them special superhero type, vampire type movies, which is just a hell of a load of fun. I really enjoy Blade every time I watch it. I can still watch it now and get so much enjoyment. Wesley Snipes is great. But my first spot and the winner of 1998 has to go to Saving Private Ryan. One of the best war movies of all time. There is some true story moments within this movie, and the acting, the cinematography, everything comes together again. One of them 10 out of 10 movies for sure. In 1999, I have two honourable mentions, one being The Iron Giant, one of them underappreciated movies around that time. Nowadays, a lot of people love it and respect it a lot more for what it did. I absolutely love this movie as a kid. And the other movie being The Green Mile, another great movie, a masterpiece in its own way. Tom Hanks doing a great job in that movie. It is just absolutely perfect, and it only misses out just because of The Matrix. Now, The Matrix is special to me because what I felt it done for the sci-fi, fantasy, action-packed genre. I thought he'd done something different. Keanu Reeves, obviously Lawrence Fishburne, and the whole cast really bring this new style to the film industry, and I absolutely love the first Matrix movie. In 2000, we got some great movies, one being Unbreakable and the other being Castaway. Two great movies in their own way, but the first movie that really come to mind, Gladiator. Gladiator is a masterpiece. It is everyone's dream movie. You can sit there and watch the performance of Russell Crowe, you can watch the actual storyline and the other cast members and characters coming onto the screen doing a great job with this movie. You could just sit back and enjoy and watch the blood and guts, the fighting, the communications between characters, the way they dealt with it. It is superb. It is one of the best movies of all time for sure. 2001 was a no-brainer for me, my backup being Monsters Inc., the runner-up there. It is a great movie, a great animated movie, for sure one of the best animated movies of all time, one special from my childhood. But there was no-brainer when it comes to the choice of the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring being the winner of this year, because that is such a special movie, such a special franchise. Really, I grew up watching. I love every single movie when it comes to the Lord of the Rings. They just do something so superb when it comes to the character of Aragorn, when it comes to Legolas, when it comes to Gimli, even Gandalf, Frodo, Sam. I love the whole crew, the characters, the way they shot it, how much money they put into it, the way they done things. I never really watch behind the scenes stuff a lot. This is one of the movies I actually watch behind the scenes stuff, and I actually got a book on how they made the costumes and stuff. I went into deep detail when it comes to these movies because I really love the Lord of the Rings. Coming in 2002, this may be a shock one for you guys after just mentioning I love the Lord of the Rings, but in second place or runner-up is the Lord of the Rings The Two Towers. I've also got Lilo and Stitch as an honourable mention as well, because I do want to give mention to that, because Lilo and Stitch is so special. Stitch is so iconic, it's unbelievable, and this movie done something so special for me as a child. It still resonates so many memories, it's unbelievable. But The Two Towers is a great movie, but it just is beaten by Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire's first movie, obviously, coming into the Spider-Man role. I absolutely loved this movie. This may not be the better movie out of the three movies, but really, this was my favourite movie at the time. I couldn't stop watching Spider-Man. Spider-Man is probably my first or second best superhero when it comes to superheroes and stuff, and I absolutely loved Tobey Maguire's movies because they just had some emotional level when it comes to the storyline. You get all that Spider-Man action, but it was really about the relationships between the characters, which I was also interested in around about this time. In 2003, my runner-up being Finding Nemo, another great animated movie, just like Monsters Inc. Really is a special kids movie, and I can still watch it to date, just like Monsters Inc. as well. It's got so much fun in there, it's unbelievable. But the winner of this one had to be The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. A lot of people don't like the fact that it's rinse and repeat in terms of so many stories and endings and stuff, but really this is a masterpiece in its own way. I absolutely love everything when it comes to this movie. This is the best Lord of the Rings movie in my opinion. I absolutely love it from beginning to the end. The way the conclusion happens of each character is just so superbly done. I really miss films like this. In 2004, my honourable mention is Shaun of the Dead. Now, Shaun of the Dead is a British zombie, fun, really comedy type movie. It's just so much fun. I can't really exaggerate how much fun it is. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it and really do enjoy it. But the winner of this year when it comes to 2004 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Personally, my favourite of the Harry Potter franchise. I probably rinsed and repeated this movie the most out of the lot. And around this time, I really dived deep into into the Harry Potter franchise. Because Lord of the Rings has just sort of finished, I was still a Lord of the Rings fan, don't get me wrong, but I really dug deep into the Harry Potter world, the magical world. I was sort of going into fantasy type stuff, and I really enjoyed Harry Potter, and I went to every single movie at the cinema, and this was by far my favourite. I don't know what it is about the story, it felt more mystical and magical than most of the others, and this is by far one of my best memories and best movies. In 2005, I've got two honourable mentions, one being The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is an absolute pure gold comedy with its great cast. Alongside that, I have Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, one of my favourite Star Wars movies, because the storyline coming to a conclusion, the way them characters which I loved growing up really ended. I absolutely loved it, every minute of it, really I did. But the movie that beats these easily is Batman Begins. Batman Begins, at first I was actually quite scared of it, because I felt like this ain't the Batman I know. This is a scary Batman, but really, growing up, especially appreciating what they done with it, because this introduced the Batman perfectly. The dark side of the story, how he turned into the Batman, what struggles he had going into the Batman. Not only that, when he was the Batman, what struggles he faced, who he faced, the betrayals and his love life, how much he struggled with his love life and stuff. Everything came into this movie with obviously great performance from Christian Bale and obviously Liam Neeson in this movie as well. I really generally love this movie. In 2006, it's a bit of a funny year because I haven't seen many blockbusters in this year. I want to take note of some. The Departed and The Children of Men are two big blockbusters everybody talks about, and I haven't seen them. So they are two movies which I've got to watch, and obviously if I'd watch them, they'd probably be on this list. But my backup option, my runner-up, is The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith in this wonderful emotional story is superb. I absolutely love this movie and recommend anybody to give it a watch. But my favourite movie of this year when it comes to the 2006 is Night at the Museum. I absolutely love this movie because it brings so much fun and youthfulness to the screen. Obviously we get some great performances from Ben Stiller, Robin Williams in there. I was really heavily going to museums around this point, and I love the fact of new museums coming to life. And whenever I went to museums, I used to think, is it going to come alive? I was just a little kid. I was a little bit older than a little kid, but I was still very naive in the head pretty much, but I used to believe them sort of things. This was a magical movie and some great performances in there and a true fun kids movie. 2007, just like 2006, I've not really seen a lot of movies in that year, and one for example which everybody would probably put as their number one or backup choice is No Country for Old Men. I haven't seen it, I've heard many big things about it, I've put it on my to watch list just as I have The Departed and Children of Men, so I will get round to it, do not worry. My backups are 300 and The Bourne Ultimatum, but my favourite movie of 2007 is I Am Legend, which is a quite unique choice because a lot of people tend to gun this movie down. I really felt Will Smith done a great job in this movie, showing what it's like to live after obviously the post-apocalypse and stuff, with his dog, and try to communicate with others. The way they dealt with this movie, I thought it was great. Obviously there's some question marks over this movie, but me at the time watching this, it was by far one of my favourite movies. 2008, I've got a couple of honourable mentions, more than two. I've got 4 honourable mentions, and I couldn't get rid of any of these because they're all so precious to me. So I've got Step Brothers being an ultimate comedy genius movie. I absolutely love this movie. I've got Taken, obviously Liam Neeson's masterpiece. When it comes to thinking of Liam Neeson, you think Taken. This is a masterpiece. Iron Man being a so special, introducing the MCU, and I love Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr., as well as WALL-E. WALL-E is a great animation kids movie as well, and I had to take mention of that because around this time a lot of people spoke about it. But by far, number one, the winner of 2008 best movie and favourite movie is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is probably one of the best movies of all time, if not the best movie of all time in my opinion. I absolutely love this movie when it comes to the Joker, when it comes to Christian Bale's Batman. Obviously you've got Heath Ledger's masterpiece performance in there. You've got some great performances around him, obviously with Two-Face and the rest of the cast. It is just phenomenal. The visuals, the storyline, the performances, everything comes together. It is absolutely superb. In 2009, I have Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Avatar as my honourable mentions. Avatar being a visual masterpiece, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is one of them fun animated kids movies which I enjoyed at the time. But my number one pick for 2009 favourite movie is Up. Up is an emotional roller coaster, but a fun roller coaster as well. It's so unique in what it done with animation, the storyline, and even attempting to make people cry. Or attempting, I cry every time I watch it, and I don't like watching that movie now because it makes me cry. But yeah, it is a masterpiece movie. It's one of my favourite animated movies of all time for sure. 2010, I have two honourable mentions. One being How to Train Your Dragon. If anybody watches me, you know I absolutely love the franchise. I love everything about it. And when it comes to the other honourable mention, it is Shutter Island, a Leonardo DiCaprio perfection movie. I really do love it. This one just missed out. This is by the skin of its teeth sort of thing. What beats this movie is Inception. Inception is a visual masterpiece with everything which Shutter Island does. It's mystery, it makes you think, it's really intriguing, the action's great, you've got performances from great cast members and actors. This is the perfect movie. In 2011, I have three honourable mentions. I just couldn't choose between them. It is Horrible Bosses. Horrible Bosses is a great comedy movie. The cast members do a great job in this funny movie. Alongside that, we have We Bought a Zoo. So special. It's emotional. It is really heartfelt and warming. It is just so great. Fast 5, one of my most favourite action movies of all time. But the best movie, in my favourite movie of 2011, is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Part 2 is much better than Part 1 in my opinion. Yeah, Part 1 built up a lot, but Part 2 really come with a conclusion for all these characters with some epic performances, really great fight scenes, twists and turns, and everything which you wanted to see in this finale for the franchise, which is dearly loved of this magical world. And I actually cried when I first watched it because I was so gutted to see it end, because I was so invested in this franchise. It was unbelievable, just as much as The Lord of the Rings. 2012 is a funny pick for me because I've got four honourable mentions which I just couldn't decide from. The Dark Knight Rises is an honourable mention for me. I absolutely love this movie, Bane coming into this movie, but for me, this is the weaker movie out of the three. The Avengers, everything it done for the MCU, bringing all these superheroes together, which we never thought would happen, the whole teaming up and facing the world and save the day, the whole heroism, it was so great and so fun. The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey was so special as well, bringing back that Lord of the Rings vibe. And Wreck-It Ralph. I absolutely love Wreck-It Ralph. It is so funny. The cast do a great job. The voice cast do a great job with these characters. And it's just such a fun, cheesy movie to sit down and watch, even nowadays. But my winner for the 2012 top spot is Ted. Ted is a funny movie. I can sit here and just chill out, watch it, and laugh every single joke every time I watch it. It's just pure filthy jokes, pure insulting jokes. And that's just the type of humour I've got. It's absolutely epic. And Mark Wahlberg is great in it as well. 2013, I have three honourable mentions. One being Captain Phillips. Then we have Gravity, as well as The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. The Desolation of Smaug, I think, was a much better movie than the first Hobbit movie. Captain Phillips and Gravity are both masterpieces in their own way. One experimenting with space, one experimenting on the sea. The whole story, the characters, everything is great in them as well. But when it comes to a top-notch movie, 10 out of 10 movie, it has to be the story of Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal trying to find Hugh Jackman's daughter called Prisoners. Prisoners was an excellent movie. I went to go and see it with a family member, and it was actually mind blown when I came out. Really enjoyed everything. I mean everything. There was not one fault in my opinion about Prisoners. Now in 2014, it starts getting a bit heroic and a bit more superhero stuff, but in my honourable mentions we have Captain America, The Winter Soldier, one of the best Captain America films and one of the best MCU movies in my opinion. This just misses out by the inch as well. We have John Wick in there as well in the honourable mentions list, because John Wick is a great movie. Obviously Keanu Reeves coming through with this new character back on the screen, finally getting the credit he deserves with this franchise. But the best movie of 2014 is Guardians of the Galaxy. I had so much fun with this movie. Every single character has so much to add to this movie, and they're just so interesting, so fun, the way the chemistry together, everything just comes together in this really colourful world. It's just so great, it really is. 2015 was a special year for film. My two honourable mentions being Creed as well as The Martian. Now The Martian, we start off obviously with Matt Damon giving a masterpiece performance when it comes to being in space, being trapped in space and trying to to figure out how the hell he gets back pretty much and how he can communicate with people. And Creed as well. Creed is a great boxing movie from the Rocky franchise. Michael B. Jordan takes on the role of the Apollo Creed's son and does an amazing job with this. Obviously Sylvester Stallone comes back being his trainer and stuff, and there's just so much epicness with this movie as well. But 2015 is stolen but from them too because of The Revenant. The Revenant is a masterpiece. Leonardo DiCaprio is a genius in this movie. He's absolutely genius. What more could you ask more from Leonardo DiCaprio? He's in a visually great movie, got great script and great writing. He's going against Tom Hardy and he fights a bear. Yeah, a masterpiece. 2016, guys. Now we have Deadpool as my honourable mention. Now that's a big movie. Deadpool is so great. It is unbelievable. Rated R, breaking the fourth wall, hilarious humour when it comes to insulting people, and everything is just so great with Deadpool. They finally made the Deadpool character right. Zootopia being another honourable mention. Zootopia is a great fun animated movie. Hacksaw Ridge is a masterpiece. Andrew Garfield's best performance to date. Another great war movie. Moana, one of the most underrated animated movies in my opinion. Very underlooked. Spoke about it a bit at the time, but because of Frozen it really sort of diluted a lot of the fan base of Moana in my opinion. But the best movie of 2016 by far is Captain America Civil War. I think Civil War is one of the best MCU movies in my opinion. Not only that, the whole build-up. That is why it really takes #1 spot for me. The whole build-up, I remember at the time I was so excited. I was watching trailers and clips and I was talking to people about what they was excited for, who was going to turn up, who was going to die, how they was going to do. I was so invested in the whole pick a team, Iron Man or Cap. Obviously I was Team Iron Man. It was just so fun, and the way they dealt with it, I think it was just so great for marketing. 2017, we've got some masterpieces in my honourable mentions. This is so hard, guys. We have It. Stephen King's obviously remake. They've finally rebooted it the right way, and they do a great job with the reboot. I can't wait for It Chapter 2. It's unbelievable. We've also got Blade Runner 2049. I absolutely love this movie. I weren't expecting it to be as good as the original, and it mind-blown me by far. I was absolutely really mesmerised with this movie. As well as we've got Get Out as well. Obviously Jordan Peele's first movie, doing a great job with this movie in the horror genre, really experimenting and doing something different, which I definitely remember even to date. As well as The Greatest Showman, guys. Greatest Showman was one of them musical movies which was so fun. Even had the adults singing it in karaoke bars and stuff. It was so special around that period of time and still is to date. I really love it, and Hugh Jackman does so well in it with Zac Efron and the whole cast. It is just one of them great movies which is just fun to sit there and enjoy. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, this is the best musical since Grease. But in 2017, my winner for that year is Logan. No doubt in my mind this movie was the best of that year, even up there with The Dark Knight in the best movies of all time in my opinion. The way they sent off this Wolverine character was absolutely perfect, an emotional one at that, but really actually showing us this Daphne Keane performance, maybe taking on the role of the Wolverine character obviously in a young girl, is really something special. The whole thing, the story with Patrick Stewart's performance as well as Hugh Jackman's performance was outstanding. Visually this was actually outstanding as well. Everything really comes together and creates this masterpiece. In 2018, last year, now this is starting to get tough now, really it is, guys, because I've seen more movies nowadays than I had before, but we have Halloween. Now I think they've done superbly doing this Halloween, because this really holds up just as much as the first movie does in my opinion. I absolutely love both of them movies. Creed 2, again, following from Creed 1, I couldn't think they would actually really exceed the levels, but they really did. They brought a bigger, badder guy in. They had obviously Dolph Lundgren in it. Oh, it was just so great. It really was. My favourite Mission Impossible movie being Mission Impossible Fallout has to be in there. A superb Tom Cruise movie. I definitely recommend you check it out. Henry Cavill is in that as well as Simon Pegg. Great movie. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is many people's #1 pick, and I can understand why. It really shocked me when I actually watched it recently. I've actually actually watched it about 5 or 6 times recently, because when I first watched it I was absolutely mesmerised with what they'd done with it, how fun it was, and it's just great. It really, really is. But at the time, my favourite movie was Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War had everything about it. It really left it on a shocking note. We've never seen the superheroes so vulnerable. The way the music worked, the way the story was told, the characters and the cast came together, the visuals, everything was just a masterpiece when it comes to Avengers Infinity War. And 2019, this year, obviously I haven't seen a lot of movies, but what movies I have seen, I can actually give you guys my thoughts on. Now, obviously, when it comes to honourable mentions, I want to definitely make note of Us. I think Us, obviously, Jordan Peele's second movie, I have to definitely take recommendation for that, because it is a masterpiece. I don't know which is better, Get Out or Us. They're both so good. It's unbelievable. A Beautiful Boy came out in America last year, but for UK it came out this year. I absolutely love that movie. It's father and son relationship is beautiful. It really, really is. Toy Story 4 as well, missing out. It's very, very hard for me to do, because I absolutely loved the new movie. I think they've done superbly. Everyone was worried about what they was going to do, and they absolutely just run with this movie and done everything we wanted them to do. They really done a great job. Avengers Endgame, missing out as well. Avengers Endgame, a masterpiece of what it is. I absolutely love the franchise. But what wins 2019 so far is The Green Book. Now, this came out last year in the US again, but The Green Book for me, a 10 out of 10 movie, as I've already mentioned. I absolutely love everything about it. Viggo Mortensen as well as Mahershala Ali come together and really create a great friendship, a bond, a great movie. The story's fun, the music's fun, everything is so great. The jokes are funny. I really, really love this movie and recently bought it on DVD finally. So guys, this has been a load of fun creating this video. Don't forget to let me know your movies from the year you was born till this present in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your favourite movies, and any recommendations for movies as well would be great as well. As well as guys, if you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button to let me know you enjoyed the content I'm giving, to give you more just like this one. As well as if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell for much, much more. We've got a bunch more stuff coming up on the channel. I don't want you guys to miss, so subscribe and hit that bell. You will not be disappointed. But without further ado guys, I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time guys on Talking with Jay Springett.